Hi there, I'm so glad you're joining me today. I'd like to show you how we're going to print onto fabric just using a normal cardboard tube from the inside of a toilet roll. I've taken my cardboard tube and I have measured 3 centimeters from the end to the top and done a little sort of marking line all the way around. And then I just simply cut V's into the card to create these points. And to fold them back, if I put my thumbnail against the lines, they will bend nice and easy. So when I come to print now, that I'll actually have this all flat on the ground. I have a piece of fabric here which I have pre-washed to get all the starchy finish out that comes on the roll. And you just do that in normal tap water without any washing powder. Leave it to dry and if necessary iron it. But you'll see that I have folded it into quarters to get my center position, because today I'm going to start printing from the center outwards so that I make sure I've got a nice print. And then I have ready mixed here some fabric paint which I mix up myself. I've decanted some onto a plastic lid, and I'm now just going to use a roller to smooth this out a little bit, because I don't want too much paint on my little stamp that I've made that I'm going to print with. I just want a nice thin film. So you can see here I've rolled it out. It's not thick and goopy like that, but I will be able to get a print. Just remember one thing, that your cardboard tube is not going to be 100% flat with your surface. So when you come to ink it up like now, you might find that you need to actually press the edges into the paint so that you're picking up paint all over. Otherwise it's going to be a little bit tricky. So that's exactly what I mean here. You can see that it's not completely covered all over. Initially you're going to find your little cardboard tube is really dry, and you can also, now that you've inked some up, if you wanted an alternative, just to put it on with a little sponge roller. You need to make sure that your paint is showing up as being wet. It's nice to be shiny and reflective. If it's not, then you're going to find that the paint is dried and you're not going to get a decent print. Maybe the cardboard tube with a roller might be easier for most of you, and these little rollers are freely available at the hardware stores. Right, so now I'm going to start in the center of my design, and I'm just going to put my tube down. Remember that your surface is not completely even, so you need to use your fingers just to press to the edges, because you've got these little petal shapes, and then lift up. It's a hand print. It's not going to be completely smooth and even as if it was a design that had been screen printed or machine printed in a factory. Each time you're going to need to ink this up again, making sure that it's wet as opposed to drying off like that one. Get into the little corners, and then you can decide how you want to play, whether you want them to all be in a row and be quite formal, or whether you want them just to be random. So for now I'm just going to match the points up, because that's easy for me to see here. Right, so lovely hand printed design, very easy to do, nice activity to do with children as well. And this little star shape would lend itself to birthday parties or even for Christmas. One thing you do need to make sure when you've done your fabric paints on your fabric is that when they're 100% dry, you need to iron on the back with a hot dry iron for about 2 to 3 minutes, just to set the paint into the fabric. And by doing that, you'll make sure that it's absolutely fixed in the fabric and that it will be washable when you come to launder your items. For these particular squares that I'm making now, I'm going to put this on a pocket on one of my shopping bags, because I find it very annoying not to have a little pocket where I can put keys and things like that in. So let's see what happens when we go here. Just also keep an eye on your fingers, because your fingers will also pick up a little bit of the paint, and be careful that you don't squish that all over. If you wanted to do this on card, it'll work exactly the same way, except you would use a craft paint or an acrylic paint as opposed to a fabric paint. So now I'm going to match these 2 points up. They aren't all exactly the same, so I think you can just rotate that till you find 2 that match. Nice way to make a little bag for a child for a birthday, perhaps. You could stitch one up in no time at all, and a quick and easy print. Right, match these up with the corners. And of course, if you wanted to extend this further, you could put some beads on. You could print in the center of your star shape with maybe a smaller star or a different shape. The world's your oyster, really. Once you start with this, you'll just find you want to go and go. So I need to match these 2 points up with 2 other points. That will be good. And then just to go to the corner ones, and then I'm done. Right, so I will join you in a minute when I'm finished and show you what the end product looks like.